I'm excited to have DJ West in the house. Welcome. Thank you so much for taking the time to be here and sharing a little bit about your experience and some things that you learned in your
Yep.
profession and being an entrepreneur. So today I was just thinking, to talk a little bit about entrepreneurship, and it's been excited to kind of watch you, close up also a little from a distance, just seeing your journey. And maybe for those people that don't know you, maybe you can just share briefly who you are and what you do.
Yep. Absolutely. Thank you, Bommy, so much for having me. My name is Wesley Madison. I am a full time. My wife and I own a wedding business, and we do primarily DJing, photo booth, and lighting. But we also do school events. So we do a lot of proms in the area in Hampton Roads. We live in Virginia Beach. We have two sons, a 10-month-old and a 3-year-old, that keep us super busy. I'm originally from Baltimore, Maryland, and I went to Hampton University. That's how I ended up here in Virginia. My wife and I got married in 2014, so 8 years. And yep, this is what we do full time.
Awesome. So if someone, how long have you been running your DJ and photo booth business now?
We went full time in 2017. That's when we quit both of our jobs. I was a counselor, behavior counselor, and my wife was a network engineer for Norfolk Public Schools. My
Okay.
first wedding I did was in 2014, so full time for the past 5 years now.
Okay. So if someone is considering pursuing, because it sounds like you pursued something you really want to do, that you really enjoy doing. So someone is maybe on the fence of, maybe doing a job they're not super excited about, and they maybe considering doing something, that they really feel passionate about, or what do you feel like for you maybe has been maybe the hardest, maybe the most challenging part, but also the most rewarding pursuing, being an entrepreneur?
Yeah, I mean it's a whole mind shift. But the cool thing about 2000, this time period, like it's this era, this time is so bred for entrepreneurship, and a lot of people are taking the ventures out into doing things in the creative space and starting businesses and pursuing their passions. One of the things though that makes it challenging is actually social media, because social
Hmm.
media sometimes paints entrepreneurship in a more of in a light that isn't realistic. You see a lot of people that are full time entrepreneurs, and they're driving in jets and Lamborghinis, and it seems like they kind of just did it overnight. And then sometimes there's a lot of people that will kind of pitch to you ideas or sell products, or advice to say how you can quit your full time job and start a business or open up an ice cream shop in a week. And a lot of that's not true. It's not really that easy.
Right.
It's a low barrier of entry, but they always say that most small businesses end up closing down within the first few years. And
Right.
the number one reason people tend to not succeed in entrepreneurship is, I think, a few reasons. One, it's a numbers game. It's actually very little to do with what you're actually doing, or what you're um, what service or product you have. Is more so, can it make a profit?
Right.
And so the shift for me was everything when in between 2014 and 2017, everything that I made as a DJ went to buying new equipment. So I never had a profit. So meaning that money never went to pay bills. But the moment we decided to quit our job, we had to make a profit because we had to pay our bills, because we didn't get a check anymore from the school system. So once you calculate that, it's just a matter of kind of reverse engineering it. We had a goal in mind of what we needed to make within the year, and we had to figure that out, how many clients, how much we would charge, and it became more of a numbers game than anything.
Right. If anybody wants to find out more about the service that you provide, what's the easy way they can get a hold of you?
Yeah, absolutely. My website, www.djwestent.com, DJWESTENT.com, or on Instagram, DJ West the Best. Or they can just kind of Google, if they can't remember any of that, they can just Google DJ West, like West
Okay.
Coast.
Okay.
And so super simple.
Okay. And I'll put that information in the comments as well, so they have it.
Okay, cool.
And if someone is looking for a DJ, if you were to boast a little bit about yourself and the service that you provide, like why should they choose your company, say, versus over some other DJ?
Yeah, well, my wife and I, when we got married, our first month of marriage, I did the week before our wedding was our my first wedding as a DJ. So we
Hmm.
spent the past um, 8 years not just approaching it from a DJ wedding you know, approach, but really for investing in their marriage and really supporting couples that believe in marriage and believe in love, and they see their wedding as a kind of the beginning, the springboard for that. And
Hmm.
so for me as a DJ, we really try to pride ourselves in being the most personal DJ, wedding DJ experience you can get. We do that personally by the connections that we have. A lot of our couples, they value the ability to talk to us, to share us their fears, anxieties, their hopes and dreams for their wedding. And we spend a lot of time listening to it. And we can do that because we're full time. Most of my competitors may not be full time, or they have a team, which prevents them from being able to give that personal touch. But
Right.
even as we grow and build our team in the next year, we'll still be able to maintain that personal connection by allowing our couples to meet their DJ personally, spend time with them. And we also have an app that they can use called Vibo, which allows them to make all their song suggestion requests into the app. So
Oh, cool.
super tech savvy. We also really, we're super interactive DJ experience. So they're going to get, kind of like the life of the party with us that they may not get elsewhere.
Yeah, yeah, that's great. And I can personally, I mean, I can attest. I've been to some of the events, and what I love about your passion and energy is like you really put all your energy and passion into when you're DJ. I can tell, and I think that's really cool to see that you're all in, like your full heart. So I definitely want to encourage you and lift you up and for the service that I've seen and that you provided. So
Thanks,
um,
Molly.
yeah, yeah, for sure. What do you enjoy the most?
I think the people component, just the ability to meet people. Because honestly, when I was in the as a school counselor, behavior counselor, I'm very much, I just have a heart. Like when I was a kid, actually they didn't diagnose me, but I had ADHD. I didn't realize it then, nor did they diagnose it. So standing still is not really my strong suit, nor is staying in place. That's why actually I didn't do well in school. I was an F student. And one little small tangent I'll say is that a lot of times schools isn't isn't built for entrepreneurship because it makes you think in a way that's more pattern as opposed to creative and innovative. And so for me, since the age of 10, I failed in school, and school kind of failed me because it didn't give me a path that allowed me to kind of spread my wings. So when I would be in school, I would be beating on the table. I would be jumping out of my seat,
Mhm.
what my teachers considered misbehaving, but it was just kind of more my creative expression. Then I got, in trouble and suspended for dancing and talking out loud and moving around, and now I get paid for it. So it's a contrast between like just being able to see that being able to connect with people. But for me personally, it's kind of almost the first thing I've ever done well in life, and so it's the first thing that really owns all of my skill set as well as my weaknesses, and allows it to make a good product for people to consume that they enjoy and that benefits them.
Right. That's cool. Thanks for sharing that. I know personally working in the school system, I can definitely relate to what you're sharing. I think, and I can't speak for all school systems, and for every school, there's a lot of different modalities in within the school system. But from the place that I've taught, there's not like one size fits all student. But as an educator, it's really hard to accommodate each student's individual needs and really meet them where they're
100%.
at. So,
100%.
I think I can totally see where the school system not always sets students up for success because of the way it's just structured.
Mhm.
So yeah, but yeah, thank you for sharing. I think that's a important point just in general, like in our society, like to help students, to help kids, really excel and to help them utilize their strengths and um, desire. So before I let you go, I did want to, this channel, of course, is called Wake Up, and it's kind of this idea that there are certain moments in your life where you can have this aha experience that you learn something new that maybe was pivotal, that maybe changed you, and I think for a lot of people, like you mentioned, mindset. I think for a lot of people, all the things that we do, it really starts with our mindset, whether the
Yep.
mindset are based on faith or fear. Kind of, you're talking about a mindset of entrepreneurship or mindset of limitations. So I think mindset really does affect us, and then my goal is for myself and for our community in a sense to really use the things that we learn to grow as individuals, but also to contribute, right? And you're obviously contributing through your business and through your services, but if you were to give one piece of advice or something regarding, what people should think about that you have found helpful for in your life to grow as a person, what would you share as far
Yeah, I
as
mean,
that area?
yeah, absolutely. I think it has to come from a self reflection. It kind of, as Michael Jackson put it, has to come from looking in the mirror, realizing you can only change yourself, right? Because there became a point where I realized that a lot of the things that people would reflect to me in terms of reports or in the academic when I was working, things that I was good at or bad at, was their perception, which was helpful, but at the end of the day, helped me to realize I gotta tell myself what I think I do best.
Hmm.
And then once I have determined that, then I have to figure out a way to present it to the world and be willing to get their feedback. So we're talking business, you know, if you have a product or service, a lot of times people are creative and they have something they do well, they're passionate about, but the world may not want to buy it or think it's valuable, which is fine. But at the end of the day, so it's kind of two sides. You learn how to really be your own biggest cheerleader and hype yourself up, but then you become extremely humble to the people around you. And it's hard to master that and master where your voice is important. Your own voice is important to you. We say, good job, Bommy, good job, Wesley. And as well as when someone says you didn't do a good job, being able to still take their feedback. That's kind of, I don't know how to phrase that or word that, but it's a mixture between your own kind of personal self esteem, but as well as a humility towards others' feedback for yourself and your person, your business, or anything you do creatively.
Yeah, that's great, man. I think that's great. I can totally relate to that. That balance between not beating yourself up, like having like a healthy self confidence, but at the same time being humble and being able to
Yeah.
take criticism. But when you get that criticism, right, you don't beat yourself up to the ground.
Mm-mm.
Like
It's difficult.
right, you use it in a constructive way, knowing that you still have value, you still have worth. So yeah, I can totally relate to that.
Thanks,
So
Bobby.
yeah. But thank you, man. I appreciate you taking the time and sharing some of your experiences. Some things you learned starting a business and being an entrepreneur and taking that. I believe like it is a leap of faith. Like to really take that leap of faith and to provide that service to people. So thank you, DJ West. Appreciate it, and I'm excited to see where your journey goes, and maybe have you on the channel next time when you
Yes. Thank you.
got to the
Thank you.
next level and what you've learned, and you can share with the rest of the people. So appreciate it, man. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Bob. All right.
All
Have a
right.
great day.
Thank you. You too.